Sí. La segunda página. En la segunda. Ah, en la segunda. ¿Cuánto pedía? Pidió vuelta. Pues no, porque tú escuchaste, no le vamos a Listo. You ready? Okay. Good afternoon. Study session, Mayor and City Council meeting, 3 p.m. Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. City Hall Complex, Council Chambers. I call this meeting to order. Discussion item number 1, strategizing on city plan to regain commercial sanitation accounts. I placed this on the agenda myself and Councilman Verona.
Mr. Kisa, do you want to make the presentation?
Sure, Dr. Barona. So as this item came to me from the mayor, and after having a discussion with the mayor exactly what we're looking for in the study session, we decided that the best way to move forward was to have a group discussion on strategizing on how we could regain commercial sanitation's account. I'm assuming that with this item that you asked us to put on here, you're talking about some of the accounts that we are losing to a competitor in commercial, being waste management. I'm making that assumption that's what we want to talk about. I've been looking at it a little bit, Mr. Mayor, and I can report to you that, you know, as from like for the month of November in 2018, and I can make a copy of the spreadsheet. I apologize, I made a lot of copies, but I didn't make a copy of this one. We had 541 commercial accounts, and at the end of November in 2019, we had 555 accounts. So we actually had a gain in accounts, okay? But trash account is it's not cut and dry. And the reason being is because each account is unique. Each account could be a different size container for commercial, and it could be different frequencies of pickups. So how do you analyze that? One way we analyze it is by looking at how much we bill for that month. So for the month of ending in November of 2018, we billed $135,000 for that month for commercial accounts for the 541. During the same month of 2019, we billed $133,754 for a difference of about $1,119. So if you look at that and analyze it, what's the difference? We gained accounts, right? But we're billing less money. And why is that? It could be smaller containers, or it can be less frequent containers. I'll give you a perfect example. If we lose the account of Panda Express to Waste Management, Panda Express produces a lot of garbage and a lot of pickup, right, in a bigger container. But if we lose an account on the downtown stores, right, there is no container. They get charged the minimum, I think it's $74 a month, and we're picking it up 7 times. So if we would need to pick up quite a few downtown stores to make up for one Panda Express. And it's very complicated to try to pinpoint exactly on a month-to-month why this is happening. That's one thing, right? Another thing, as we look at our rates, because, and this is difficult because our rates are very transparent, and our rates are voted on by mayor and council, and you get to listen to your constituents come to you and talk to you about rates, much like the ACC would on utility rates, water and electricity. And so in theory, we're running our sanitation as a enterprise fund. So we're supposed to set our rates to pay to cover costs, right? So if you look at our rates, and I'll go ahead and pass this down, Mr. Mayor. If you don't mind looking at this. I did this very quickly. I did this afternoon. I haven't had time to really dive into study this issue, but I've done the best I had so far with as much as I could. So our base rate for a 3 cubic yard for the city of Nogales is $93.51. What does that mean? That's a 3 cubic yard container, and each time we go over there and pick it up, and we touch it, right, it's going to cost you $93.51. If we go twice in a month, you'll multiply that times 2. 3 times by 3, 4, and so on and so forth, so if you can follow me. But as I compared it to the information I was able to receive from Waste Management, their 3 cubic yard is $122.24. So it's actually more expensive to have a 3 cubic yard container with Waste Management than the city of Nogales. $28 difference. But however, what I don't know from Waste Management, and I haven't had time because it's not readily available information, I don't know what their multipliers are. So I don't know what Waste Management would charge for a 3 cubic yard to go visit it 3 times or 4 times a month. So that's something that I need to work on and find out what's going on. So that explains a little bit about rates on the information I can see. If we average it, which I don't think this is a good way of analyzing it, averaging it, because it's only a 1% difference. But as I speak to, and I'm not no way an expert on garbage collection, we have Mr. Tenza, but my understanding, and Mr. Mayor, I know you have a lot of experience with this, there's very few 8 cubic yards out there. Yes. That the vast majority of our dumps are going to be 4 and 6, and some of them, you know, we have doubles or what have you. So it becomes a little bit more complicated on that. But just to show you a base understanding of what rates are, that's what rates are. So having all that said, what would be, I'll pass these out. No, it's okay. I'll just pass them down. Give me one for that.
You don't want to talk trash,
Well, what has
I'll
been
look
the,
at it.
you gave us 500 and some as the current commercial accounts,
Right.
and then you said you've increased by X factor presently. But what has been, let's say, in the last 24 months, what has been the highest?
Oh,
So
I
can make a comparison. And
I haven't done that to graph where we're at and
Yes.
how we go up and down. I haven't done a month-to-month account. I would have to do that. I have to take my time and do that comparison to see if
Has Mr. Gansa done anything like that?
he wouldn't be able to do that because that information on number of accounts and all that, unfortunately, is done with our revenue department. Mr. Tenza's job is to make sure he goes picks these guys up. So he schedules the garbage trucks, he schedules the crews to go out there and do it. But the business end of garbage collection is done in this section of City Hall with Mr. Suarez. The reason why I haven't had the opportunity with Mr. Suarez, we know at the end of the year we have the shuttle license coming on, and they've been parked all the way up and down the street. So we really haven't had time just to sit down and start studying this and putting something together on this. So we'll be working on that. But one of the things I think, as I spoke to many people, and this is what I've done, I think that there might be an opportunity for the city to strategize and come back with some suggestions on how to do a PR campaign for our garbage collection. Sure, waste management is huge. If any of you watched the World Series, every single game, the whole backstop of it had waste management every game.
And the golf tournament.
The golf tournament. So really, if you look at the number of accounts they have in Dallas, which are few compared to ours, that revenue for them is a rounding error. I would imagine, I'm just guessing, but I would imagine that Waste Management annual Christmas party costs more than the revenue they would collect from the city of Nogales. So what does that mean? It's bigger. It's bigger than just the city of Nogales. I'll give you an example. Drive up to Jack in the Box and I see a Waste Management. And I walk into Jack in the Box before I make my order. I said, "Ma'am, can I speak to the manager?" And I know the manager over at the Jack in the Box. I said, "Hey man, I'm here supporting you. How come you're not supporting us with our garbage pickup?" He said, "I would love to. I wish I could. The decision's not mine. The decision made in corporate. They would rather write one check and they get grouped for every Jack in the Box in the country. They can outbeat our prices. I don't think we'll ever be on the level to compete with that." However, I did tell him this. I said, "Yeah, but does Waste Management provide you with police service? Does Waste Management provide you with library service? Does Waste Management have fire service that goes, takes care of you? Does Waste Management provide recreational activities for your kids? Does Waste Management provide roads, sewer, water, and all the other services that the city does?" No, they don't. So they can cherry pick. We provide all that service. So we do better as a whole, right, than as a group because we're not subsidizing out of other departments. So that's where I come. That's where I come at this and thinking maybe our strategy, because if we decide that we want to go into a price war with Waste Management, in my opinion, we'll probably lose. Like I said, it's a rounding error. Whatever we put our price, they can undercut our price. I don't know what their multiplier is. I don't know if ours is by 2. So assuming we charge you $100, if we go twice a month, it's $200. 3 times 300. I don't know if theirs is 50%. I'm going to find out. But I'll try to figure out if it's strictly a price issue, which I'm sure it is. So yeah, that's one of the things is to get the business community to support their community and switch back to the city of Nogales. And if our prices are really way out there, then I think maybe we need to visit that. But if they can undercut us at any moment, at any time, because we can't, Angel doesn't have the authority from council to say, okay, let's negotiate a price. Right? Council sets a price, and that's what it is. We go twice to your business, you're getting charged, 124.68 times 2. We can't deviate. We can't say, oh, we'll give you a special rate. That's what I think we should do. I don't know if there's other thoughts or other ideas that you would like to direct staff to look at. I thought maybe we start producing a letter. Maybe we can get the mayor to sign the letter or something, a letter explaining why it's important to stick with the city of Nogales' sanitation rate, and explain a lot of things to them. Explain to our businesses, like that Tito's restaurant over there. There's a Waste Management garbage can right there. I see it when I went there, and I go, doggone it, I wish I would have gone somewhere else to eat instead of here. They don't seem to be supporting us, or at least talk to the owner or the manager of that property and let them know. But yeah, I think if we all do that in our business, because I'm sure that the Waste Management Administration and Board talks about their business every chance they get. When they're out talking to their people or their customers, they're selling their customers. I think if we do that as a city, we might be able to swing some of these commercial accounts back. Another issue that's difficult is in the city, we don't get to pick and choose. We provide if you want. So if you come to the city of Nogales, you pull a business license, open up an account, and you say, I want garbage service, we provide it to you. Waste Management does not have to do that. I like talking with people like Mr. Bruce Bracker and saying, go to Waste Management and see if he'll pick up your cardboard downtown or your garbage downtown for $74.95, 7 days a week, regardless if there's a car parked in front of it or not. They won't do it. If anybody's been around here, see Waste Management, they send one truck, it's a front loader, If they don't pick up on Fridays, they don't pick up on Fridays. If we're only down there 3 days a week, that's when we're picking up. So they can tailor-make their schedules, their customers to when they're down. We don't. We run those trucks 6 days a week. You know, we tailor ours. What day you want it picked up, and we can tailor ours. So we're not in the position to directly compete with them, but I think we could be in a position to compete with them on a public relations campaign.
Mayor,
Yes.
I never thought of it, but some of us that go out to eat, I think from now on, I'm gonna go to the back of the building and see where they dump their garbage.
Absolutely.
Because I've never done that before. So,
I was telling
And
John-
they're easy to see. I mean, they're greener, they're just as green as on there, right?
no, I know,
Yeah.
but like Regazi's, I have to go all the way through the back over there to see, because their garbages are picked up behind the buildings.
Right. Some of them it's
But-
hard, but some are real easy. Tito's, as soon as you go in,
Yeah, no, I've seen
and as soon
that
as you make the turn, you'll see it right there.
Yeah.
I was telling John when we were discussing this, to place it on the agenda, and we talked about, about how we could sell the city and how important it is for them to know exactly the services that we provide, with all this. And I was telling them that right before Thanksgiving, I go to Villa's Market every day, almost every other day, and I'm parking in Villa's Market, and the first thing I see is Waste Management driving from the behind Villa's Market, and I was in shock to learn that they had gone to Waste Management, and their excuse for going to Waste Management, I don't even want to say it, but it's not an real excuse. It's not, and those are the businesses that need to understand how much all the services we provide,
Right?
to the community, and we need to be able to get some of this fund from the enterprise fund to be able to do this, and be a partner, be a partner with the city, be a team player with the city of Nogales. And that's when we were discussing that, and I told John, I said, that's I think the best way for us to address this, because we're not going to get into a war with who's going to charge more. They're going to beat us. And all of this happened when I was Public Works Director. We took them out. We took them all out. They had taken 210 accounts from us. And in a 1 month's time, we took them out. And I remember at the time the city attorney, when I was going to get on the podium to speak, the city attorney said, we're going to get into a battle because they're going to send all their attorneys to fight us on this. Not one showed up. You know why? Because they didn't have the authority to pick up in Nogales because of our city charter. But when the mandate of the governor said that commercial pickups, they could go into any city and do it. They did it to Tucson, they did it to us, they did it to everyone. They can't do it residentially.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
They may be trying next.
They came in, so they didn't care. So what they did is they moved out in 2 weeks, and they said, we're gonna teach him a lesson. We're gonna leave our accounts and we're gonna take everything in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, they put all their dumpsters at the end of Calle, where Nogales property is at the end of the cul-de-sac there. They put all their dumpsters there, but little did they know that we had already been working for 2 months, cleaning, welding, and preparing all our dumpsters so that when they pulled them out, we put them on. So we got all of our accounts back. But then we started losing them, and now we're at that position that, they can do it.
We lost it through state legislation?
State,
is that-
You're right.
Yes.
state passed
It
it.
opened it up. So,
Yes.
But did we send somebody up to the state legislature to explain our position?
No, well, the whole state lost it.
No, I
Yeah.
understand that, but did the city of Nogales hire a lobbyist or somebody to tell them, hey?
I don't think so.
No?
I was Public Works Director at the time. I don't think anybody from the city went over there. I remember when we got the letter and we got the information that the city attorney mentioned to us, you know what? They're gonna come in and at this time, Art, we don't have a battle.
I think that was in the 90s, Mr. Mayor? or-
No, it was 2001.
2001.
2001,
Yeah.
2002.
So, and then another thing that the city could attempt to do, I don't know how successful we would be because waste management is pretty big, right? So one thing we could do is try to work through the league and get a change in the legislation. I don't think that will happen. And the reason why I said I don't think that'll happen is because we've already made phone calls to a lot of our neighboring cities and to talk about commercial waste pickup. You know, how are you guys dealing with this? And most of them are saying, you're in the commercial waste business, you're crazy. Get out. Get out. You just don't do that. And so we're some of the last of the Mohicans have been in the commercial waste business in the municipality. Back in 2018, Dr. Felix asked me to look into what would happen if we did privatize commercial sanitation. And I studied it then and analyzed, and I gave you all a copy of my findings, but I'll pass it around for your, so you can have it in. Give me one for that, please. I'll pass it around for you to refresh your memory on this. But in a nutshell, what I analyzed, which we already knew, was commercial sanitation revenues offset our residential garbage. So if we were to get out and just say, okay, we don't do commercial, because by law we don't have to do commercial pickups. We do have to do residential. But we could decide tomorrow, we're out of the business. If you want your garbage picked up, you know, call, here's a list of competitors or whatever, right? But as I analyzed it, we would have to raise our rate by about $4, maybe $5 to each home to break even. So that's how much the commercial was subsidizing the cost of residential. Just food for thought as we go forward and talk about this a little bit or strategize on what's a good idea. If we were to decide we're just not going to do commercial anymore, we'd have to probably raise our residential rates a little bit or change our manner of service.
No, I don't support at all getting out of the business. Staying in the business, I support staying in the business. What I'm asking for this is that we try to be a little bit more proactive, more customer related friendly, so that these people, because I've heard that some people, they've asked for some things and then the city didn't respond, so they just, well, I got another choice. And when you have another choice, like if I have another choice, I don't want to go to this restaurant because this restaurant has the green garbage can instead of the gray garbage can. Well, that's my choice to make.
Right.
Mr. Tensa, do you have anything else to recommend?
Yes,
Mayor, please come to the podium, please.
Mr. Kissinger brought up some good points, and I'd like to add to that is that we do other services besides just pick up residential waste. We have green waste. We've been doing recycling in the past, and that costs money to do. It's provided as a service to the community, and I don't think we want to give that up. I have had several occasions where the commercial accounts have said our employees do a fantastic job of cleaning up the area around where the dumpsters are kept, and that would not be a reason why they would go to a commercial, is that if we gave poor service. And all I can say is that we're doing excellent service right now, so we'd like to keep our core of employees working and to have them continue on with the accounts, the service accounts that we have right now.
So maybe, Mr. Kissinger, you can plot a graph chart for the last 5 years of commercial accounts so we can visualize, is that 500 number that you gave us as the current number, how does that compare with the previous 5 years, so we can get an understanding of how accurate of a business decision we can make with that 500.
Sure. We can look at the fluctuation of our commercial business accounts on a month-to-month basis for the last 5 years and try to draw some
See what we
comparisons. Absolutely,
But
yeah.
I like the suggestion that we should all, well, anybody, because we all go out for lunch or something.
Absolutely.
To do some of that PR work and all that.
Maybe we do a billboard, you
And the
know?
other thing that I'd like to say, as far as customer service by the city, okay, my wife never tells me anything about the garbage collection, and she has this last 2 months. I'm talking about residential. But we have the best person for garbage collection residential assigned to us. I mean, my wife has even seen him early in the morning. We have a problem in our neighborhood with javelinas, okay? And they dump the cans over, I don't know, they're pretty clever little animals, but you know, the garbage collection guy, he stops the truck, he gets down from the truck, he does as much as he can to put it back into the containers, then he stretches out the arm, dumps it into the deal, and then he moves on.
Absolutely.
And he does such a great job. We have some elderly people that live across the street from us, you know, and they're in their 90s or so.
Puts the can back from
He pushes the cans back in there for them. I mean, we have absolutely great customer service.
We did that for Mrs. Meyer. Dr. Meyer's
Paquita.
wife, Paquita Meyer. She called up, talk about customer service, says, ya no puedo. She couldn't take the can down the hill. And she lives down the hill.
Right, I know.
So for a while, we were actually going up there and taking it down. Now, do I want this on YouTube so we can get a we couldn't do it for
Yeah.
everybody.
It would be time.
We wouldn't be able to, but I can tell you that the same guy that's, the guy that picks up at my house, Dr. Barona, excellent customer service. I mean, yeah, just takes care of business, you know. I think it goes across the board with all of our employees. Most of them, they live here. They're going to see you at the store. Their kids are going to play ball with your kids. You're going to run into them. Not Waste Management. That guy doesn't live here. That truck doesn't even sleep here. If it's not picking up here on Tuesdays, it's picking up
here.
it's picking up in Tombstone or somewhere else, and you'll see the truck come in and it picks up and it's out. But these are points that we need to make sure that our business friendlies, because they'll come here and talk to us about being business friendly, but we also want our businesses to be friendly back with us. And for a few bucks, you know, I don't know how it relates, but all the services they get, you know, I think we should look at that. And I can pledge to this council that I will further evaluate these costs and see, because the first look at this, we're not that far off if you look at it. It's not that big. I just don't know what the multiplier is.
Okay.
You know, but I'm going to get to it.
Well, that gives us a good overview, but I would also like to see about this on the residential, having a comparison of, do we need to continue with the recycling pickup? I know we pick up twice on Tuesdays, like for me, but if we're not having recycling, I know a lot of cities have gotten out of it, that I've read about here in southern Arizona. Sometimes it is convenient to have that extra pickup, okay?
Sure.
But do the people realize that we're not recycling, that you can put whatever you want to in the can? And then, I guess if we do that, then I would say, okay, well, let's continue it. It's a service. You know, we started with $2 and now it's up to $20.
So, and then also, as you walk throughout the community, we can all ask all of us to help educate our customers that the city of Nogales has never recycled. Okay, we have in the past, and we're trying to continue to collect recyclables, which is a lot different. And we do that curbside. We go to your house and we hope that we can take strictly recyclables, and we're asking each of our customers to separate and segregate, you know.
Sell it.
My recommendation, Dr. Barona and Mr. Mayor, my recommendation right now is that we do not change any of our operation as it relates to recycling. We go to each house approximately 3 times a week, once to pick up garbage, once to pick up green waste, and once to pick up recyclable. If we make any changes on that, we're going to have to on actually going out or reducing manpower or equipment, I would caution us not to do that at this point, because if we do make changes, let's consider what changes we might have to make with equipment, manpower, and hours if we're successful with annexation. So we could, if we are not going to pick up the blue cans, let's just we can analyze it that way. Not pick up the blue cans every week. We can use that same labor force to be picking up gray cans in our new, how many square miles and customers. So right now would be a good time just to leave things the way they're at. We're not going broke there, right? Leave things the way they're at and analyze it as we move forward. That would be my recommendation to council.
Well, I concur somewhat with your recommendation, but I don't want, if we go through annexation, I don't want the people in the original city of Nogales to say, well, they're not collecting my recyclable now, because now they gotta go out there, so I'm having to pay for that service for them now.
Absolutely. Or if we were to say right now, either way, right, we're going to stop going to your house for recycling. I'm just telling you that if we make a decision not to recycle, right, if we make a decision, though that equipment and manpower could be used somewhere else. That's all I'm saying.
But we have made a decision not to recyclable because it's financially, there's nobody that wants to buy our recyclable. So we've made that decision, but
Right.
we're still collecting. I'm just saying
Correct.
to eliminate that recyclable day collection if the cost benefit analysis bears out that kind of solution. If it doesn't, then continue with it.
Right.
Because now that I see that I have this javelina problem, the more trash that I get out of the house, the better. I don't have to worry about
Right.
coming out at 2 in the morning to clean up.
And the other factor could be depending on what happens with China. If China opens up recycling, because all of our recycled materials went to China. If that opens back up, recycling could become more profitable, and we could go right back into collecting material that will eventually get recycled. And if that opens up, we would be in a better position to provide that service than taking it away and then reinstall
Well,
it.
actually, Mr. Kissinger, it's not us that gave up the recycling, it's the company that takes it.
Yeah.
They said that they're not gonna be in the business of recycling.
Yeah, we've never recycled.
Right. We're still.
We just
doing
collect.
it.
We
We're
just
still
collect,
collecting.
right.
Yeah.
And if
Maybe-
there's a market for it, it goes.
And he came up here and made that presentation.
Yes, yes.
I don't know if you were mayor that
Yes,
time.
yes, he was here.
So he made that presentation.
Yeah, because we just renewed his contract at the same time. But before we go past, on the containers, on the dumpsters, one thing that we have to look at too, a dumpster, a 6 cubic yard dumpster in a produce company weighs more than a 6 cubic yard dumpster at a store. Because they throw produce in there, they throw all this garbage, juice, everything, that weighs tons. It's 6 cubic yards, but it's gonna weigh more than what is the capacity in there. I know that for a fact because I did that test when I was public works director. I tested some of those. So,
So what do you
what
say?
I'm saying is that we pay more at the landfill when we pick up from there than because of the weight. Remember, we pay by the tonnage. All right, they charge us by the ton, not by the cubic, not by the container. Because we show up with a truck full of garbage.
But the annexed area, using your analogy, we would be picking up a lot of warehouses over there.
There's
well,
more warehouses here in the city than there are out there. right now.
I'll help with that.
Yeah.
So
We need to send a message to those companies too.
in our ordinance, we're not supposed to be picking up any vegetable matter.
But we still do.
Okay, we're not supposed to be.
Okay?
So, but
You're supposed to
what
enforce that.
what the mayor, well, and it's difficult. It's not the easiest thing to enforce, but we're not supposed to. But what the mayor is alluding to is that we charge to pick up by volume, not by weight.
Right?
But we're charged for the disposal of, or putting it to the landfill or transferring by weight. So the two are offset, right? We can't, and the reason why it's done that way is we can't pick up your dumpster and know how much it weighs. We don't have like a scale to figure it out, so. That's where the
So
problem.
the majority of the produce companies also give their vegetables, ripened vegetables, to the community food bank. Because once they give it to the community food bank, it's out of their hands, and they don't have to dispose it at the landfill by weight. So you know,
I never realized.
yeah, no, you did.
So,
you have to
so the
look at
way
that.
we do it is we find out annually what it costs us to deal with the 60 tons a day of solid waste that's produced by the city of Nogales. And then we put it into a rate scale with the customers that we have that offsets that payment. So that's how,
And usually it's
that's
not the
theoretically
produce
how we
companies.
figure out what we have to charge people.
Usually it wasn't. Usually the produce companies doing that. Councilman Varona, it was the food banks.
Oh, the food bank.
Yeah, they were filling up the dumpsters full of food. Vegetables, overripened vegetables that they couldn't give away. So we were picking it up, and I remember at the time we weren't even charging the food banks. Remember?
But the same thing, you can say the same
You
thing
have to look
about
at that.
residential, right? I can tell you, I've been out there, and Steve, you can probably back me up on this. On Greenways, we can go up to a small apartment on Short Street or East Street or Little Page, Franklin Street, right? And pick up a Food City bag with some leaves in it. Or we could be having to send the front loader out to Vista del Cielo after one of those mansions decided to call in the Mexican pruner to prune the trees and stack it all up.
Right.
You see the disparity? And we do the both for the
For the same amount.
$22.95, you know, so we just have to analyze that a little bit and be more cautious on how we provide that service.
That's true,
And it's hard, it's not an
it is,
easy task.
because people are accustomed to something,
Right.
and they're paying extra for it, and that's what they want in their service.
Correct. It's
So
not an easy task.
That's a hard one to go
crack.
ahead and change.
Right.
It's no different than the original size of the residential garbage can. There was only, the gray one would just be picked up, and it became an election issue. So now they could pick up the gray one and the blue one on one day.
Correct.
That's how the people fought back. It became an election issue.
That's absolutely right.
That's why there's two cans, the two different ones
On Monday.
are picked up on one day and just the blue one on the other day. Well, Mayor, I think this has been a good discussion. I've learned some things that I wasn't aware of, but I think in the next presentation, there needs to be a little bit more written documentation of what we should look at, and we need to spend some time on this, because you sent this to, did Dr. Felix share this with us?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't
I'm almost
remember reading this,
positive he
John.
did. If he did, that's why I brought another copy, but
Okay.
you remember?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I think part of waste management is when they go to the larger businesses and they cut a deal with them for the first year or 6 months or whatever. Once they get them in there, they'll sneak up the price slowly, right?
I'm sure they do.
But everybody that I've known that has switched over to waste management, they tell you there's a 50% difference.
Right.
Looking at this schedule here,
It's not.
it doesn't show that.
Right.
It doesn't show that.
So
But,
how do we
you know,
get there? Yeah.
how do we get there? Maybe we have to talk to some of the people there that we know that have switched over to waste management
Analyze their bill.
and analyze their billing, right?
Is there any way, John, and Mr. Tensa, is there any way you can compare for the next time we meet, can compare, just on commercial, not residential? It's gonna be tough, I know, but let's see if you can compare our cost in the landfill to our earnings on how much we get. Because I know it's gotta be a difference because of the weight difference. Do we pay more out than what we receive from the customer?
No,
No?
no. Our rates, our rates, the money we collect for our customers pays for, it's roughly, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, roughly, I'm just gonna guess, $1 million a year is what we pay to
That is
dispose of our
correct.
garbage.
Yeah.
But we also pay for fuel, we also pay for.
Yeah, but that's
trucks.
residential, commercial, everything.
It's all, you see, and that's another part that was very hard about the analytical part of it, was saying, what would it cost if we didn't do commercial. Well, when we buy tires for the dump truck, for the garbage truck. We don't segregate, okay, commercial, we don't run them as two separate businesses, so there's some overlapping, you know? But
No, I
that's the best yeah.
No, I am.
Okay. So that would be hard, I can't do that.
Yeah, the comparisons you made, I understood.
Yeah,
I just need just a little bit more
Yeah,
things
Of
the
trends.
chart. And
yeah. We can do
we
that,
can do
definitely
that.
do
yeah,
that.
let's look at that and then we'll talk about this down the road.
I'm just glad that, with the present company, here, that the county has chosen to remain with the city for the garbage pickup and the
In
district.
schools.
I didn't, well, say that again.
I said, I'd just like to mention, just for the people in the room, that I'm grateful that Santa Cruz County
Uh-huh.
and Nogales Unified School District have chosen to stick with the city of Nogales for their
Oh, yeah.
trash pickups. I think it's
drive behind
important.
the gym and I see a green dumpster.
No, we don't do that.
That's my first sales pitch of the year.
That's a good one.
That's my first sales.
Behind the courthouse.
So, Mr. Mayor, just
Yes.
quickly, I mean, you're talking about recycling.
Manny,
Uh, There's going to, Manny Reese, Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors, February the 17th through the 19th, there's going to be a plastic recycling conference and trade show in Nashville, Tennessee. What's happening now is that there are a lot of companies that are requesting that their products contain a certain percentage of recycled products. And so I think Mr. Bracker is going to go to represent us in Nashville, and there are opportunities for bins to be set up because you have, what are they called, reclaimers? So the company says, you know, I want X amount, 20% of this product to be recycled groups, and so they send it out and then they go and they look for it, and so there's opportunities perhaps maybe where you can get some information and maybe the city would be able to set up just recycling bins that go directly to that, and maybe there's a little way to make a little bit of extra revenues. You know, now they're making tennis shoes, they're making bags, they're doing a lot of things with a lot of the recycled plastic, because these little bottles they make the little pellets and then they can use that for manufacturing. So if anybody's interested, I have the website here. You can look into it and perhaps someone can go, and if it's something that you would be interested, I know that we're looking at doing something similar at the county for the same reasons. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Supervisor.
thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, so John, thank you very much.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
I hope that helped.
Did
and,
Mr. Barona already suggested?
We already.
No,
Bracker.
Yeah. He looked at Nancy and went like this.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll skip to the number 2 discussion item, Santa Cruz County Library System. This was also placed by myself and Mr. Barona. Mr. Barona is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Please.
Mayor. I asked that this be placed. This is something that has been a prolonged issue that has kind of been sidestepped. Sometimes good things get sidestepped because of our relationship with Santa Cruz County. But what I'm looking here is to see if this council and the mayor will agree, after we have a formal presentation, to look at partnering with Santa Cruz County and creating Santa Cruz County Library District, okay? Yeah, I'm not saying this out of the goodness of my heart, because it would save us what we fund the library right now, which is about, let's say, $250,000 that we could use, yet we're providing services throughout Santa Cruz County at the same time. And I think it would be good for us to do something like that. If you look at our financial report today, we're on the plus by $323,000, but basically we're flatlined. And we need to start looking at where we can save some money. So what basically is to, at least the mayor give direction to Mr. Kissinger to look into this and make another presentation so that we can meet the deadline, because this has to be an election if I'm not mistaken.
No, my understanding is no.
Oh, no?
Vote at the Board of
That's even
Supervisors.
better then.
So,
Him and his two others.
Mr. Mayor, if I may
Yes, go
give
ahead.
any reason. So it's has to be a unanimous vote of the board to create the taxing district. And I know that several years ago we had approached the city. I don't think you were mayor then, Art, but we came and we approached the town of Patagonia, and there was no interest in pursuing that. In fact, I think Mr. Lucero was still our manager when we brought this up, and there was no interest, so we dropped that. That's when we entered into an agreement here with the city for you to do our library services out in Rio Rico. And I think this year we're going to be paying you about $270,000 to run our little library that's out there where our Public Works building is. I know the town of Patagonia does their own. So,
Manny, I think we run more libraries in the county than one.
yeah, I think that's the only one.
No.
We have another one. We have one more in Sonoita, right? In Sonoita, I apologize.
We do Sonoita, Tubac,
Is there one
Rio
in Tubac
Rico,
also? Okay.
and
I
Nogales.
apologize. So either way, so there's
in the
three,
county
maybe there's
seat.
four libraries, but we do pay $270,000, and that's up about $9,000 over last year's, as per your request, as when we got our budget done. We increased by the agreement that we have. We have an agreement in place that's been
It mirrors
big boy.
the
It's been in
rabies.
It's been in effect for a long time. I don't think we've ever revisited, because we trust each other, that we go ahead and we continue to work with you. You know, like I said, to create another taxing entity, I don't know. I could not tell you right now, especially depending on what the tax is going to be, but if the city is looking at it, what I will do is I will have our manager, and unfortunately she couldn't be here today because she's in Washington, D.C. We can review it and see what all the particulars are. But from my conversation with her before she left, she said it would have to be a unanimous vote of the board, so you couldn't have a 2-1 vote and create the district. At that point, I don't know what the process would be then if it goes to a vote of the people, but it can be created by a board vote. So if you're interested, let us know. I know I see that you have on your agenda where you're considering to hire a manager. Here's an opportunity for the person, if chosen to be your manager, to meet with our manager and have those types of discussions, and then we can have a joint meeting and discuss the benefits or what it would entail to create the tax district. Because I know there's a lot of, if I remember correctly, you had to do a lot of accounting. It was just so complicated, time consuming. I think at the time, and that's why people decided, we're not interested in, by people, I mean the city and the town of Patagonia. Because you don't have to know how many computers you have, which are your computers, who's going to pay for this computer. And I mean, it just was so a lot of work to do that. But if that is what you want, we will certainly consider it and have staffs get together, and you can go through the pros and cons. But in an election year, I can assure you no one's going to want to vote for another tax increase. I know that we got chastised for raising taxes by 10 cents, I think so.
Yeah, but the people are different supported when it has to do with education and reading and providing that to people, children that don't have that kind of service. Okay. Mayor, I would like to proceed. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I would like to proceed to instruct our staff to look at it, make a presentation to us, and then we can go from there, and maybe you can work with the library board and you guys can make a recommendation also to us to see what you think they'll do. All right?
I don't see why not. We should go.
Yeah. So you can just, I wanna be able to tell the people, so what's the tax rate gonna be? Well, I don't think the budget, the community college has a budget of approximately $2.3 million. I don't think that's going to be the budget for the library there on an annual basis, and that's at 49 cents, okay? So that's, so I was thinking the tax rate would probably be about maybe 35 cents. But look it up so we can respond to the people on that. And maybe you can make another study session presentation.
Yes. We'll do that, John.
So, you'd like staff to, work with the county and bring back a presentation on what a library district would entail and, you know, what the pros and the cons and bring it to
Yes, and how much the tax
Yeah.
would be.
for how much the tax would be assessed by the county for the district to maintain the current operation.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's what you're asking me.
Yes. Correct. And then, that would be to do it, and if you could flow some of that information to the library board, that would help them to keep them knowing
Sure.
what's going on there too.
Mr. Mayor, I would
Yes.
suggest that if one staff meets, that the chairman of the library board be involved in the meetings. That way, you have a better idea, so.
No, we just said that right
Yes.
now.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear.
Yes,
I
it-
thought you said that once you guys met, then you would get the library.
No, no, he's
No,
gonna
no.
flow that information
Yes,
to them.
it'd be fair that everybody's together on,
Right.
I'm just putting something together before you come
Right.
to us.
So,
Yeah,
we
we'll
look
do it.
forward to seeing you. I'll let Jennifer know that as soon as you have a manager in place, she will be contacted, and then the process can begin. Like I said, this year, I don't know about creating more taxes, unless, of course, Elijah Trump decides that it'll be good for the community.
Mayor,
Elijah Verona?
I don't wanna get bogged down in
Okay.
this comment that Supervisor Reese made. But I'm not interested in when we appoint a city manager.
Regardless of it.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
You're the,
I'm-
take
I'm-
off with it, and we're not gonna wait for
I
you.
don't take my instructions from Mr.
Right.
Reese, I take it from you all, so
All right.
I'll take care of it.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, okay.
Don't.
All right.
Yes, you want to say something? Would you please to come to the podium? Podium, please.
Terry Smith, Library School Board, Library Board. Would Patagonia be exempted from this? Or since they're part of the county?
No, they would be included, Jerry. They were included last time when they decided to opt out, just like the city did. So once the information is presented to both sides, all the entities that have libraries would be able to participate. Again, they would have the opportunity to either opt in with a tax or
opt out
not.
and do their own thing.
Yeah.
If it were an election, it would
No, there's
probably not this meeting.
no election.
No,
It's up to
there's
the
no
Board of
election.
Supervisors.
It's by the board.
Right, but the voting for this.
Would be the Board of Supervisors could enact with a unanimous vote.
Right.
There's three of us. I think, I don't know if it's different with the 5-member board, but I know the three of us. Or
The
the
tax rate can be voted on.
still like it.
Perfect. Then we'll be seeing each other. That's something. And I want to see you more often. Okay? 1 year, John. This is the first time I see you in the council
Sir,
chambers.
it's not the first time.
And I've been going like this. Where's she hiding? Where's she hiding?
She
Oh, I've
was,
seen you a
she
couple
was
of
attending a
times.
funeral for last meeting, that's why she wasn't here.
Estaba jugando, eh? I've seen you back there. But the directors should sing the prod. Yeah, yeah. So that everybody can see you. Easier for us to go, hey, could you please go to the point now? But thank you very much. Thank you very much. And a motion to adjourn. We ready?
So moved.
Yes. Do you want to talk about anything else?
No.
Please adjourn.
Good meeting, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Well, don't you feel like
We got enough time before we start the